Hello, I'm Larry Kane.
And I'm Alan Frio. And coming up tonight, time is running out on Campaign 87. For Wilson Goode, the Democrat, and Frank Rizzo, the Republican, last-minute reprimands from the Philadelphia Fellowship Commission.
I'm Harvey Clark. Mayor Wilson Goode is relaxing at home on election eve. We'll talk to the mayor live.
And good luck visit to the South Philly neighborhood where he grew up. I'm Dennis Wolfering with that story. Coming up.
Also tonight, the Reinert murders. The movie is over, but questions remain. Bill Baldini has a report. On Election Eve, 1987, the Channel 10 News Update is next.
The city. The issues. The candidates. Tuesday, Philadelphia chooses its next mayor, and Philadelphia's most respected political reporting team brings you the results and the reasons why. On Election Day, vote, then watch it count on Channel 10. They're the two best decisions you'll make all day.
Good evening, everyone. And this is the way it is on this Monday night. Across our Delaware Valley tonight, it is all over but the voting. In exactly 8 hours, the voters of Philadelphia will make the big news of Campaign 87. And tonight, this campaign ended in controversy.
Now, in the final hours of the campaign, both Wilson Goode and Frank Rizzo were scolded by the Philadelphia Fellowship Commission. It has been a busy, busy day. It's a busy final day, and our team coverage features live interviews with both candidates, Harvey Clark at the mayor's home in Winfield and Dennis Wolfering at Frank Rizzo's home in Chestnut Hill. We begin with Harvey.
Alan, unfortunately, there had been charges of dirty campaign tricks all along, and that came right up until today. But just about 1 hour ago, there was good news for Wilson Goode at home when the governor gave him a call to wish him good luck in tomorrow's election.
Go out tomorrow, do the job. Wilson, my very best wishes. And good luck tomorrow for a smashing victory.
Thank you, Governor.
It's become a tradition on Election Eve for the mayor to spend private time with his supporters at his home. And tonight, Goode had already won a small victory when the Fellowship Commission that monitors fair election practices gave Rizzo a slap on the wrist. The commission charging Rizzo with using racial and religious fear to win votes. The censorship came after this ad appeared in the Jewish Times. It tried to link Goode with Nation of Islam minister Louis Farrakhan. Farrakhan once calling Judaism a gutter religion. The ad went on to say, "You are known by the company you keep."
I think that everyone who knows me know that I'm not a supporter of Minister Farrakhan. I think that he is trying to encourage voters to vote for him based upon having them believe that I'm anti-Semitic.
It's clear the Rizzo ad was directed at getting the Northeast Jewish vote, but some political observers believe it could all backfire.
I think it's sort of an unfair attempt to associate a very unpopular person in the Jewish community with Mayor Goode, and the connection is so tenuous that it wouldn't have any impact on me, and I think in terms of evaluating Mayor Goode, it has a negative impact as far as Rizzo is concerned.
28% of voters polled still say they are undecided in tomorrow's election, and both men know how important the Northeast Jewish vote is in the outcome. Now, the mayor is with me live. Mayor, let me ask you the first question right off the bat. What is your reaction to the fellowship's censoring of Frank Rizzo?
I'm pleased that the Fellowship Commission concluded what I concluded when I first read it. And that is that the ad violated the Fair Campaign Practices Act. And it was wrong. And all I've asked all along is for Frank Rizzo to apologize. Apologize for having tried to use race and religion as a tool in this campaign. It's wrong.
But the Fellowship Commission also kind of have slapped you on the wrist also, saying that there were some events over the weekend that Rizzo had sent letters to them complaining about discrimination and accusations that if he were reelected, there would be a police state.
There are a lot of campaign workers who are very emotional about this campaign. We've tried very hard to keep them in line. And whenever we find someone stepping out of line, we tell them to stop that nonsense and put them back in line. The difference between Frank Rizzo and Wilson Goode is I know when someone who works for me is wrong. I know how to correct them. He will not admit the ad was wrong. It was wrong, Harvey, and he ought to apologize for it.
Very quickly, will you do well tomorrow?
I expect to win tomorrow, decisively.
Okay, and Dennis Waltering has been all day with Frank Rizzo and is with the challenger tonight and is standing by. Dennis?
Harvey, this was a big night for Frank Rizzo. He made a return visit to his boyhood home in South Philadelphia, a good luck visit. And in response to those rulings from the Fellowship Commission slapping both the Rizzo and the Goode campaigns, Rizzo charged that the Fellowship Commission itself is unfair.
Well, you tell Angie I said hello.
Frank Rizzo argues the Fellowship Commission's tainted because the two co-chairs are Wilson Goode supporters. One ruling hits Goode for linking Rizzo with discrimination, violating the Fair Election Campaign Practices Code. The other slaps Rizzo for his ad linking Goode with Minister Louis Farrakhan. But Rizzo argues the rulings are meaningless. And yet, you signed the code. You pledged to abide by the commission's
And I did. I told the truth, and I think that that's the people's right to know.
So do you admit error in this?
No, I do not. All I say that it's a tainted commission.
Frank Rizzo's response came at an event that's been good luck for most of his campaign, a visit to the South Philadelphia neighborhood where he grew up.
We're going to clean out City Hall.
Tonight, he was back to ask his longtime friends to knock on doors, to make sure their friends and relatives vote tomorrow.
Make absolutely certain that they go to the polls and vote. If we do that, we're on our way to a great, great victory.
Rizzo pressed through the crowd to shake hands, stopping at a corner bar for a toast. Then, with his brother Joe, the candidate went down the street to the row house on Rosewood where they grew up.
My brother Joe and I slept in the back room. And it was one bed, and it had an invisible line down the middle.
Tony Ateri, a boyhood friend, fixed food for the Rizzo's good luck visit.
This is the world's
And in the street, supporters predicted their neighborhood's favorite son will win back the mayor's job tomorrow. Joe Campercioli arguing it's time for a change.
The streets in South Philadelphia are terrible. I talked to people in North Philly. They said they get trash picked up 2 times a week. We get our trash picked up once a week.
And with me live now is former Mayor Frank Rizzo. Mr. Rizzo, we've heard charges traded back and forth in this campaign between the Rizzo and Goode campaigns. Do you have any regrets about the way this election campaign has been run?
No, Dennis, but I want to get back to that report. You know, Wilson Goode has never denied this ad was untrue, nor has the Fellowship Commission. That ad, every word of it is fact. And I've been talking about his association with Farrakhan for a year. And I would tell you that this guy Farrakhan is a minister of hate, and I think the people have a right to know. And on that Fellowship Commission itself, there's 2 members, Todd Cook, and I have a clip which I distributed to the press where Wilson Goode said he could count on him anytime he's in a pinch. He contributed to Goode's campaign. Judith Harris, his appointment to the SEPTA boards on that board, she contributed to his campaign. It was a tainted commission.
So on a night when the Fellowship Commission is saying that ad violated the code, was unfair, divisive in effect, you're standing by it?
Absolutely. It's not divisive. And I think that not only the Jewish community, but every person in this city should know about Farrakhan and what he represents. And further, I think that there ought to be some sort of an investigation about the relationship between Wilson Goode and Farrakhan. The fact that he bought tickets and all the other things.
Mr. Rizzo, real quickly, I want to get your mood tonight before tomorrow's election.
I'm on my way to a great victory, Dad.
Well, you know the polls say you're trailing. You have been exuding confidence the past few days. What's crucial? What has to happen for you to win tomorrow?
I'm certain that the people that support me will come out in great numbers, and that'll be the victory.
Okay, we'll be watching tomorrow. Larry, Alan?
Okay, great numbers, very important for both candidates. Voter turnout considered a major factor in the Philadelphia mayor's race. Once the campaigning ends and the voting begins in less than 8 hours at 7 o'clock in the morning. Across the city, voting machines are in place. The polls open at 7, close at 8 tomorrow night. On our 6 o'clock broadcast, pollster Steve Teichner told us every vote is important in a close race.
We're all talking about a possible 2 out of 3 registered voter turnout. That's really what the issue is right now. I think that the contest is finding out who's going to get to vote and who's actually going to vote. That's really up in the air, and that's what's going to decide it.
Teichner says that with tomorrow's Philadelphia mayor's election and in the primary last spring, the candidates have had a tough time convincing voters to show up at their polling places.
Now, the big question, of course, is how do the two candidates get out the vote? Both Wilson Goode and Frank Rizzo mounted intense voter registration drives, and as Bob Orr reports tonight, both candidates ready now to put their strategies to the test tomorrow at the polls.
This is Helen from Rizzo for Mayor's Central Headquarters.
With Republicans and crossover Democrats, Frank Rizzo's campaign is assembling an army of 8,000 volunteers to get out tomorrow's vote.
He's grassroots, he's people. People love him, they're there, they know what he's done, what he can do, and we all want a better city.
But Democrats tonight are meeting that challenge, passing out street money to campaign workers in South Philadelphia and calling voters all over the city to get Mayor Goode supporters to the polls.
Tomorrow we're going to knock on doors, we're going to hit the street and try to cause a little interest in the election. At this point, I'm looking for, a decent turnout.
But what worries both camps is the undecided voter. 1 in 4 has still not made a choice.
You just can't make up your mind.
You think you might even stay home?
It's a thought, but I should vote since I am a citizen, but I'm just having a hard time deciding.
While the undecideds are critical, both campaigns say they have to hold on to their traditional voters and attract some crossovers. For Rizzo, the strategy is to win big in Northeast and South Philadelphia, while taking 8 to 10% of the black vote away from Wilson Goode.
I'm reasonably certain that I'm going to get a good percentage of the black community.
But Goode's campaign says Rizzo can't produce those votes. And Goode's strategists say as long as the Democratic mayor sweeps North and West Philadelphia and captures 18 to 20% of the white vote, he'll be reelected.
I'm looking to have at least an equal turnout of my base of support to my opponent's base of support.
Now, the only other time that Goode and Rizzo ran head-to-head was in the 1983 Democratic primary. And in that election, 2 out of every 3 Philadelphia voters voted. Both campaigns said today they expect a similar turnout to that tomorrow. But each campaign said lighter or heavier, that would be all right, as long as the right voters show up. Larry, Ellen?
Okay, Bob, thanks. Now, besides the campaign for mayor, Channel 10 News will be covering the other major races in the city, along with those in the suburbs as well. In City Council's 1st District, Democrat Jim Tyoon did some last-minute handshaking tonight in Kensington. The Cambria Boxing Club provided the setting tonight for Tyoon. Former councilman and ex-congressman came to fight for the seat left vacant by Leland Beloff, who was sentenced to prison for extortion. Tyoon's opponent gave a thumbs-up sign to her supporters tonight in South Philadelphia. Republican Constance McHugh switched parties, resigned her court job to enter the race. McHugh, president of the Pennsport Civic Association, has made the integrity of South Philadelphia politicians an issue in this campaign. Tyoon calls her a mudslinger, touting his record of service to constituents.
In South Jersey, one of the key races Channel 10 will be following tomorrow is the race for state senate in the embattled 6th District. Today in Cherry Hill, incumbent Republican Lee Laskin met his supporters at the party headquarters on Church Road. Laskin is seeking his 4th term in the New Jersey Senate. Laskin's Democratic challenger Maria Greenwald did some last-minute campaigning today at the towers of Windsor's Senior Citizens Home in Cherry Hill. Greenwald, the mayor of Cherry Hill, has been the city's leader for the last 10 years. And of course, in eastern Pennsylvania, municipal elections will be held throughout the area tomorrow. Voters in Bucks, Delaware, Montgomery, and Chester counties will select their county commissioners.
Now, need we tell you that Channel 10 is your station for complete coverage beginning tonight at 11:35 with a special election preview following this broadcast. Then tomorrow, we will have live election coverage with our exclusive Teichner exit poll. The moment the balloting ends, that happens at 8 o'clock. Then at 9:30, we begin nonstop live coverage of the results of how you voted in all the major races in Philadelphia, the suburbs, and South Jersey. That's in our special coverage of Election 87.